Hi folks, welcome to this short video series on HR planning and recruitment. We're going to start this topic of recruiting non-permanent staff. So what are some of the ways that if you had staff that you want to hire just on a temporary basis, where would you go? Well, you can go to temporary help agencies. Adecco Group here is one that I've linked you to. Now let's just have a look here. This is their site, and you can see here, if you click that link and go to Adecco, you can kind of see that they have a tab here for people that are looking for work, and they'll tell you what their permanent opportunities are, any temporary positions, right? Depending on what you're looking for. You're looking to work temporary or permanent. Are you looking to work for Adecco themselves? Maybe you want to get into the recruitment business, right? So there's that aspect to it. There's for employers. So say, for example, an employer is looking to hire somebody. Why should you use Adecco services? So there's those kinds of things if you're interested in looking for a job on a non-permanent or temporary basis, whether you're an employee looking for work or you're an employer. Now, sometimes an employer will say, well, we just want contract workers, so we want them full-time, but we only want them for a short period of time, right? So sometimes contract workers, depending on how long the contract is, might say, well, I have a company, maybe they've started a company, and they can do work for you on a short-term contract basis, and then send the company a bill for their services. Or maybe they just agreed to come on board as an employee for a temporary period of time, but on a full-time basis. The third method that we can use to recruit non-permanent staff is sometimes an employer might transfer work to another company. So say, for example, we wanted to get electricians. Obviously, if we didn't have electricians in our company, we would call electrical contractors to come in, okay, and do the work. Similarly here, say for example you had 1,000 resumes that came in response to a job advertisement that got posted. You might turn around and say, well, I can't sift through 1,000 of them. Maybe I'll give them to a human resources professional and I can hire them on a contract basis, or send them to a company and they can screen them for me in light of my qualifications and what I'm looking for. So you can transfer that work to another company. So that's also a good way to use non-permanent staff. The other thing we want to talk about here is, how do I know whether the way I've recruited people is effective and efficient? Well, we can look at the cost to a process. So say, for example, you decided to place an ad in a newspaper or in a magazine, trade magazine, and you had a lot of applicants, but you had to farm it out, and that cost you not only to run the ad, but to get an HR company to sift through the resumes and screen them for you. That could cost a lot too. So you have to look at cost measures, the amount of time it takes you from the time that you invoke the recruitment method, whether it be through job ad, your own website, any other website, trade magazine, word of mouth. You know, how long does it take you to make a hire? Quantity measures as well. Did the method you used to recruit even give you enough people that you felt you had a good number of people to choose from? So if you're recruiting and you only get 10 people, you might say, hey, I only got 10 people. There's one or two here that are great quality, but I don't want to choose from one or two people. You want to make sure that you're getting enough in the pool to choose from. And then we also have to look at quality measures. So which recruiting activities are actually locating and attracting people who have exactly the right skill set for the job, and again, how do they perform once they're hired? So are we going to the right sources to try and attract people to our organization that ultimately when we hire them, we can be pretty confident that they're going to be able to perform? So now, in this next slide, and we're going to look at this in the next video, we're going to look at the efficiency and effectiveness of recruitment methods and how we can assess it using a yield pyramid.